I spent $350 on the Starlink standard kit for my camper. Then I spent another $499 for the Mini to replace it. And believe it or not, I don't regret it one bit. A lot of people ask which Starlink is the best for RV camping. So that's what we are answering today. Forget the spec sheet. I've used both of them on real camping trips with my family. Kids streaming, me on work calls, and I'm going to break down the 4 things that actually matter at the campground: portability, power, performance, and price. Good things come in fours today. Welcome back to Chai in Camper. A quick note, this is not a technical deep dive on Starlink specs. There are plenty of great videos on that. This is purely an engineering dad's camping perspective. Alright, let's start with portability, because this is where the standard lost me. Being from a computer science background, I love gadgets. I want the fastest machines, the fastest internet, the best tech, which is exactly why I went with Starlink standard in the first place. The Starlink site said it's faster. The YouTube video said it's faster. I was sold. This was going to be amazing. Well, not quite. A Starlink standard kit has a big dish, a separate router, and cables running between all of it. That made a mess. Cables everywhere, an additional router to find a place for, and a dish so big, I couldn't put it where I actually needed it. Now, look at the Mini. 1 unit, 1 cable, that's it. The dish, the router, the Wi-Fi, it's all built in. I go from packed up to online in under 2 minutes. And here's something I didn't expect. I put the Mini on my truck's dashboard on a recent 3,000-mile trip around the Southwest, and it worked the entire way. Mind you, I could not have done that with the standard kit. It's too big. It needs a separate router. It's just not designed for that kind of flexibility. Putting both of them side by side gives you a good understanding that the setup time is 10 minutes versus 2 minutes. The standard kit is not for outdoor use, and it is a bit bulky to store, whereas the Mini can fit in a drawer. If you're permanently mounting it on a large RV roof and never moving it, standard works. But if you're like me, setting up and breaking down on every campground, the Mini wins this one easily. One last thing to keep in mind, and this is a real camper tip. If you end up on a campsite with heavy tree cover, the Starlink struggles. It needs a clear view of the sky. With the Mini, I can pick it up and walk a few feet to an opening. With the standard wired to your camper, you're stuck. Something to think about. A lot of videos have been made on power consumption on both these devices. While it is not critical in my case, as I always use electric hookups, I will cover this for the sake of completeness. I did promise no technical deep dive. I guess we'll throw that out for the next 4 minutes. The Starlink standard draws 75 to 100 watts on average. The Mini draws about 25 to 40 watts. Now, that might not sound like a big difference, but when you're camping on batteries, it matters a lot. Let's say you have a typical 100 amp hour lithium battery in your trailer. Pretty standard setup. Without going through the whole table, the bottom line is that Starlink Mini gives you 32 more hours. If you're boondocking with no electric hookup, that's the difference between your Starlink dying at 2 p.m. or lasting through the evening when your kids actually want to use it. If you're on solar, the math is a little bit more complicated. But all things being equal, and you're running both of them for 24 hours, this is what the math look like. I won't bore you with all of this. The bottom line is you need 1.2 solar panels to cover the Mini and 3.6 solar panels to cover the standard. This again is for 24 hours. As an engineer, I tend to look at things a little differently. I don't just want opinions. I want to understand how things actually work in the real world. If this kind of real world breakdown is what you want, hit that subscribe button. Alright, let's talk about speed. If I'm being honest, when I switched from the standard to the Mini, I thought I was going to notice slower speeds. The standard is rated faster, that's a fact. But here's what actually happened. At campgrounds, I'm typically seeing 50 to 120 megabits per second on the Mini and about 80 to 180 megabits per second for the standard. So yes, The Standard is faster on paper. But here's the question you should actually be asking. What speed do you need? As most of you know, when you're camping with teenagers, internet is not optional. The streaming requires about 25 megabits per second. A video call, 5 to 10 megabits per second. Online gaming, 15 to 25. Web browsing, 5 megabits per second. Mind you, I'm not going easy on this thing. On some of these trips, I'm working every day, video meetings back to back, while my kids are watching YouTube or gaming with their friends. We have not observed any slowness, not once. When both these devices give you 3 or 5 times what you actually need, the speed difference doesn't really matter. It's like comparing a car that does 180 miles an hour versus one that does 120. All you're gonna do is drive 65 miles an hour on the highway. All right, let's talk money. And I'll give you the numbers as of this recording. The standard kit costs $350, while the mini costs $250. The monthly plans are gonna be same for both of them. Now here's something interesting. When I bought the mini, it was actually $499, more expensive than the standard. Starlink has since dropped it to $250, which makes the decision even easier today. The monthly plans are identical, so the only difference is the $100 in the hardware cost. So here's how I'd like to think about this decision. Ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, are you mounting it permanently or setting it up on every trip? If you have a large Class A or Class C RV and you want a permanent roof mount, the standard's larger dish and separate router makes more sense. If you're setting it up and breaking it down at different campgrounds like me, mini is the obvious choice. Number 2, what's your power situation? If you always have electric hookups or a big generator, the extra draw doesn't matter. So go standard. But if you're on a battery, solar, or you're boondocking, the obvious choice is mini. It's not even close. Number 3, do you need it outside of the camper? In your truck on the road, at a picnic table, at a rental cabin. The mini goes anywhere. The standard is a base camp setup. For me, the answer was clear. Mini does everything that I need, sets up faster, is small, and now costs less. I reluctantly switched thinking I was compromising. Turns out I was upgrading. Now that you know which one to pick, I'd recommend watching this video next. Starlink recently changed their pricing model and it actually benefits the campers. I break down exactly how. As always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.